One partner clearly weaker or less confident. A huge weakness in doubles is when one partner is clearly less confident. You'll see it right away. They avoid the net, hesitate on middle balls, or look unsure on volleys. When opponents notice this, they immediately send every shot they can toward that player. We see a real example at the 2025 Queen's Club Championships, doubles, where Routliffe and Kichenok beat Raducanu and Bolter 6-2, 7-5. Emma Raducanu was the less confident partner, and the targeting was obvious. Body balls and middle pressure kept forcing her into rushed volleys, never letting the British pair settle or sink at the net. The stronger team repeatedly stretched them, isolating the weaker link during tight moments. That targeting shifted momentum early, making it harder for the British pair to settle into the match. In doubles, one unsure partner becomes an opening that experienced teams attack without mercy. To exploit an opponent team's lack of confidence, start by hitting high-percentage balls to the weaker player early. Check with deep cross-court returns and safe rally balls to confirm who breaks down first. Once identified, target them on every big point. Use patterns that isolate them at the net or in the backcourt, while avoiding the stronger partner unless you're finishing the point. Poor communication between partners. Poor communication quietly wrecks doubles teams because it creates hesitation on balls down the middle, confusion on lobs, and missed switches. Opponents can sense this quickly and start hammering the center seam, forcing both players into panic decisions. A clear example came in the 2025 Wimbledon men's doubles final, where Cash and Glasspool beat Hijikata and Pell 6-2, 7-6-3. Hijikata and Pell had never played together before, and match reports highlighted that lack of partnership experience. Cash and Glasspool repeatedly pressured the middle and used sharp angles to expose the pair's uncertain court coverage. That early break in the first set came directly from poor coordination during a service game. To use this to your advantage, aim heavy, deep balls straight through the middle, and watch for hesitation. If neither player takes charge, keep going there. Add lobs and sharp angles to force switches, especially after pulling one player wide. On return, stand slightly inside and attack the seam to rush their decision-making under pressure. Bad at net/standing too far back. A weak net player is one of the most obvious weaknesses in doubles. You can spot it when someone stands too far back, blocks volleys upward, or flinches when the ball comes at the body. Opponents attack this immediately by driving balls into the chest zone or dipping returns low at the feet. While pro-match reports don't usually say they lost because of weak volleys, this pattern often appears in lower-ranked or newly formed teams. For example, in the 2024 Wimbledon men's doubles final, Harry Heliovara and Henry Patton repeatedly exposed Max Purcell when he stayed too deep at net, driving returns low at his feet and forcing defensive volleys, eventually winning 7-6-7, 6-7-8. Net discomfort becomes a momentum killer in doubles. During your own match, drive returns and ground strokes low at the net player's feet. Use body shots rather than outright passing shots, forcing reflex volleys and unforced errors. Follow aggressive shots to the net and be ready to close, knowing their reply is likely defensive. Force the player with the weak net game up by hitting drop shots or short angles when they are on the baseline. Poor reaction time at the net. Slow reactions at the net make doubles extremely difficult. If a player can't handle fast reflex exchanges, opponents will go after them with quick drives, body serves, and sharp returns. You'll see late volleys, miss hits, or players freezing when the ball jumps off the strings. Even though match reports rarely say reaction time lost them the match, you can see the effect in tight contests where the net player gets overwhelmed. This happened during several points in the 2024 Wimbledon men's doubles final, where Purcell and Thompson struggled to finish fast exchanges against Patton and Heliovara. In quick sequences, hesitation gave the British Finnish team control at the net. In doubles, slow reactions bleed points quickly. Speed up exchanges intentionally, hit flatter through the court, and follow balls to the net. Target the net player's body on returns and passing attempts to force rushed reflex volleys. Use serve +1 patterns that immediately bring the ball to the net player before they can reset. Weak or inconsistent serve. A weak serve, especially a shaky second serve, is one of the easiest weaknesses to exploit. Returners step inside the baseline, take full cuts, and immediately force the serving team on defense. This played out clearly in the 2022 Wimbledon men's doubles final, where Ebden and Purcell defeated Dodig and Krajicek 7-6, 6-4. Dodig's second serve was repeatedly attacked, with returners stepping inside the baseline and instantly taking net control, leading to the decisive break in the second set. A weak server gets exposed most on pressure points where timid deliveries give opponents free looks at attacking returns. Once opponents feel comfortable attacking your serve, the entire rhythm of the match tilts heavily against you. To take advantage of weak serves, step inside the baseline on second serves and aim deep through the middle to take time away. Target the server's partner at net immediately, forcing defensive volleys instead of clean setups. On big points, pre-plan aggressive returns rather than just trying to make the ball. Weak returns of serve. Weak returns give away free points and make it impossible to pressure the serving team. Signs include floating chip returns, repeated errors on body serves, or predictable cross-court blocks. A strong example appeared in the 2024 Australian Open men's doubles final. Rohan Bopanna and Matthew Ebden beat Ivan Dodig and Austin Krajicek 7-6, 6-4. Dodig and Krajicek struggled to apply pressure on returns, which let Bopanna and Ebden serve freely, close the net aggressively, and control most service games without resistance. In doubles, if opponents feel no threat on their serve, they become fearless and aggressive at the net. You can take advantage of this weakness by serving wider and into the body to jam weak returners and force defensive blocks. Follow your serve aggressively to the net, knowing the return is unlikely to hurt you. Mix serve locations to prevent them from settling into a safe, repeatable return pattern. Predictable patterns. Being predictable is one of the easiest ways to get dismantled in doubles. If a player always returns cross-court or always serves to the same target, opponents adjust instantly, shifting early and cutting off angles. For example, in the 2023 Wimbledon men's doubles final, Wesley Koolhof and Neil Skupski beat Marcel Granollers and Horacio Zeballos 6-4, 6-4. Koolhof and Skupski constantly varied serve targets and return patterns, never letting their opponents lock into a rhythm, which quietly tilted control of most rallies their way. Their unpredictability forced errors and prevented opponents from getting into a comfortable rhythm. The solution for you is simple. Start mixing in different directions even on safe shots and especially returns. Change serve locations on big points and occasionally go behind the net player. Once they stop leaning early, their anticipation disappears and rallies swing back your way. Fear of poaching / too passive at net. When the net player is scared to poach, the returner basically under no pressure to make a high-quality return. Poaching in tennis is when a player at the net moves across the court to intercept a shot intended for their partner in doubles. Professional tennis players poach to end the point early and to be unpredictable. Players who are too passive at the net are always standing still, never faking, never crossing, just guarding their little box. Good teams attack this by ripping cross-court returns all day, knowing won't be cut off and put away. Modern doubles strategy articles constantly stress that strong teams use active forward poaching, while weaker teams stay frozen and reactive. At the 2023 US Open men's doubles final, Rajiv Ram and Joe Salisbury beat Rohan Bopanna and Matthew Ebden 2-6, 6-3, 6-4. Ram was constantly active at the net, faking and poaching, which rushed returns and stopped Bopanna and Ebden from ever settling into clean cross-court patterns. The strategy for you is very straightforward. Do the complete opposite of passive players. They play scared, you and your partner should play more aggressive and poach when opportunity presents itself and take control of the match. If you know your opponent will never go down the line, it makes it that much easier to pounce on a weak cross-court shot. Over-poaching or guessing wrong. The flip side is over-poaching, when the net player lunges too often and guesses instead of reading. You'll spot it when they move early, leave the alley or middle wide open, and get passed over and over. Smart opponents bait this by shaping as if they're going cross-court, then hitting behind the moving net player. Doubles coaches warn that poor poaching angles and sideways lunges create exactly these holes. At the pro level, you see this pattern in the 2023 ATP Finals men's doubles. Wesley Koolhof and Neil Skupski beat Rajiv Ram and Joe Salisbury in straight sets. Ram's aggressive poaching was repeatedly punished by calm, down-the-line returns, turning his early moves into open lanes on the biggest points. When over-poaching shows up under pressure, it doesn't just cost single points, it hands away crucial games and tiebreaks. The best way you can punish an over-eager net player is by making crisp down-the-line returns. Often these players poach too early and too often, meaning you don't even need to hit a perfect down-the-line return to win the point. Getting stuck in no man's land. No man's land is that ugly zone between baseline and net. The ball bounces at your feet in no man's land, making it one of the most challenging locations on the court to hit any shot in tennis from. Coaches hammer this point in modern double strategy. You either commit to the baseline or to the net, not halfway. Opponents exploit this by driving hard at the shoelaces, then mixing in deep lobs when you panic and rush forward. In pro doubles at the 2022 U.S. Open men's doubles final, Rajiv Ram and Joe Salisbury beat Wesley Koolhof and Neil Skupski 7-6, 6-4. Ram and Salisbury repeatedly pinned their opponents between the baseline and net, forcing awkward half volleys before closing points with simple put-away volleys. Once you're stuck mid-court, every shot feels defensive, so the other team controls rallies, builds pressure, and runs away with tight sets. If you see this, keep them there as long as possible. Drive balls low at their feet, forcing your opponent to hit half volleys or hit the ball on the rise. The difficulty of hitting the ball in no man's land does all the damage for you and sets up for weak and rushed returns, making it easy for you to finish the point. Be aggressive. Not knowing modern doubles formations. Teams that never use I formation or Australian formation are much easier to read. If you always stand in classic positions, returners quickly find a rhythm. Modern analysis shows more and more teams placing the server's partner right on top of the net in I formation, then popping up to cut off angles. At the 2023 Wimbledon men's doubles final, Wesley Koolhof and Neil Skupski beat Marcel Granollers and Horacio Zeballos 6-4, 6-4. Koolhof and Skupski mixed I formation and standard looks throughout, constantly disrupting return rhythm and preventing Granollers and Zeballos from settling into repeatable patterns. When a team refuses to change formation, opponents don't have to think. They just repeat their best return patterns. That predictability makes it much harder to hold in big moments and gives creative teams a clear tactical edge. This is where small changes cause big problems. Even showing I formation once forces returners to hesitate. Mix it in on key points, especially after routine holds. That pause alone breaks rhythm and stops them from locking into their favorite return patterns. Poor court awareness. Covering the wrong zones. Poor court awareness shows up when players chase the wrong balls and leave massive gaps in court coverage. One partner overprotects the alley, the other drifts too far in the middle, and suddenly there's a highway for passes. Good doubles systems emphasize clear zones and not following the ball too much. Opponents exploit this simply. If a team cheats middle, they go down the line. If they hug the line, they hammer the middle. In the 2020 Australian Open men's doubles final, Łukasz Kubot and Marcelo Melo beat Nicolas Mahut and Edouard Roger Vasselin 6-4, 7-6. Kubot and Melo consistently hit into open space, exploiting moments where both opponents drifted to the same side, turning simple positioning errors into steady, pressure-free points. To exploit this weakness, you need to start moving the players around to expose the open court. If both players cover the middle, attack towards the alley of the court. If they hug the alley, hammer down the center. Let their poor movement show you where to hit the ball next. Poor lob defense. A team that can't handle the lob collapses quickly in doubles. They either panic on overheads or argue over who takes the ball, resulting in miscommunication. Modern strategy treats the lob as a primary weapon against aggressive formations, especially when the server's partner is crowding the net. A perfect example. At the 2024 U.S. Open, Kevin Krawietz and Tim Poetz beat Simone Bolelli and Andrea Vavasori 6-4, 3-6, 7-6, 10-4 while using an incredible 59 return lobs between both teams, 37 from the Germans alone. Stats showed that when their lobs landed, they won around 64% of those points. That's brutal efficiency. Against teams with shaky lob defense, a steady stream of well-placed lobs completely flips control of the net. During your match, draw your opponents up the net with short angles and drop shots if they hang back on the baseline. Once they're close to the net, that's when you reply with the lob. The main thing you want your lob to do is be high over the net and get your opponent to back up. Poor consistency under pressure. Some players look great until they are put under pressure, and suddenly the double faults, tight volleys, and short returns appear. Doubles at the top level proves how deadly this weakness is. In the 2019 Wimbledon men's doubles final, Juan Sebastian Cabal and Robert Farah came back to beat Nicolas Mahut and Edouard Roger Vasselin 6-7, 7-6, 6-4. Mahut and Roger Vasselin couldn't close under pressure. tightening up on big points while Cabal and Farah stayed calm and stuck to safe patterns. That's exactly what poor pressure consistency looks like. The better team isn't always the one with bigger weapons. Often, it's the pair that stays calm and keeps patterns solid when everything tightens. That's when you stop forcing and start squeezing. Extend rallies on big points, aim deep through the middle, and make them hit one extra ball. The pressure builds fast. The more routine you make it feel, the more likely they crack on their own. If one particular player is feeling the pressure, make sure to make them more uncomfortable by attacking them as often as possible. Emotional tilt, blaming the partner. Emotional tilt is deadly in doubles because once a player gets frustrated, communication dies and decision-making collapses. You'll notice it when one partner starts shaking their head, rushing between points, or giving short replies or straight up ignoring each other or arguing. Opponents spot this immediately and extend rallies to make the tilted player boil over. A real example appeared at the 2021 U.S. Open Women's Doubles semifinal. Elise Mertens and Su-Wei Xie beat Veronika Kudermetova and Elena Vesnina in straight sets. Kudermetova and Vesnina visibly lost sync under pressure, with frustration creeping in and communication breaking down, while Mertens and Xie stayed calm and simply kept the ball in play. When frustration replaces teamwork, even simple balls become stressful, and opponents take control simply by keeping the ball in play and letting the tension grow. Once tension shows up, slow everything down. Hit higher, safer balls and stretch rallies just enough to keep frustrations simmering. Avoid risky winners. The longer points last, the more communication breaks and the easier it becomes to win without doing anything flashy. Not targeting the right player. Many doubles teams lose because they don't consistently target the weaker link. They split balls evenly instead of applying pressure with purpose. Opponents who recognize this weakness quickly turn matches around by funneling every important ball toward the less reliable player. In the 2023 Australian Open Men's Doubles Final, Matthew Ebden and Max Purcell beat Ivan Dodig and Austin Krajicek 6-7, 7-6, 6-4. In the closing stages, Ebden and Purcell repeatedly directed returns and pressure balls toward Dodig, staying disciplined and letting errors come under sustained pressure. When a team refuses to identify who struggles under pressure, they lose the chance to control patterns, and gifted opponents take full advantage. This is where discipline wins matches. Identify who looks tighter or less stable, then send every important ball their way. Middle balls, returns, passing shots, keep it boring and focused. Over time, pressure compounds and mistakes start showing up exactly when you need them. Poor formation adjustments versus lefty-righty combos. Lefty-righty teams create natural angles that confuse opponents, especially on returns. If a team never adjusts their formation, they get dragged into awkward contact points and leave huge spaces open cross-court. The best teams counter this by shifting their starting positions and changing serve targets to neutralize the angles. A good example is at the 2023 ATP Finals men's doubles, Harry Heliovara and Henry Patton beat Wesley Koolhof and Neil Skupski in the round-robin stage. The lefty-righty pairing constantly shifted formations and serve targets, dragging their opponents into awkward return positions and taking control of the middle with geometry alone. When a team refuses to adapt, they get jammed with serves into uncomfortable spots and lose control of the middle. In doubles, ignoring formation adjustments against mixed-handed pairs becomes a structural disadvantage every single point. If they won't adjust, lean into the angles, serve into uncomfortable body spots, pull them wide cross-court, and attack the exposed middle. Don't rush points. Let the geometry do the damage while they keep starting in positions that don't protect them. Bad court movement. Weak movement shows up fast in doubles because the court gets stretched side to side and front to back. If a team can't chase lobs, close the net, or recover to the middle, opponents control everything. You'll often see one player reaching late on volleys or giving up space after long rallies. In several pro matches, especially deep in Grand Slam doubles draws, you can watch fatigued teams lose momentum after long service games or extended exchanges. In the 2018 Wimbledon men's doubles final, Juan Sebastian Cabal and Robert Farah beat Bob and Mike Bryan 6-4, 6-7, 6-3. As rallies dragged on, Cabal and Farah's superior court coverage and recovery exposed slowing movement, opening angles and breaking the match late. Once lateral speed drops, lobs land, angles open, and the fresher team dictates pace. Slow footwork doesn't just cost points, it collapses entire sets. That's your signal to stretch the court. Use angles first, then depth, then the occasional lob. You're not rushing for winners, just making them move one more time. As footwork fades, openings appear naturally and control shifts point by point. If this helped you understand the game on a deeper level, make sure you subscribe for more breakdowns, tactics, and match-winning insight.